I feel like it's been a hot minute since I have popped on with a new video, maybe because it has been a hot minute. Depending on when you're watching this video is going to come out in January of 2025. Last fall was just insane for me and my family. My husband started a new job, which was great because he had been out of work for a couple of months, but it requires him to travel, which is great. It's a great opportunity for him, but it put a lot more pressure on me at home. So this is the first year. My youngest daughter is in kindergarten. My oldest is in 3rd grade. This is the first year that a lot of their after school activities are separate from one another. So the fall hit and we had 2 kids with different after school schedules. And so it was one of those things where I would drop one kid off at one activity. Then I would leave from there, go drop the other kid off, come back, pick up kid number 1, come back, pick up kid number 2. And it was just chaotic. And I felt like I needed to step back from YouTube for a little bit just to give me some headspace. But we are back here in 2025 and fingers crossed, I'm hoping that I can pick back up with our weekly videos, if not weekly, at least bi-weekly, because I enjoy sharing them with you. Thanks for being patient with me. We started back last week. Day 1 was teacher in service, and then we had 2 unexpected snow days, Thursday and Friday. We were in school on Thursday, but they sent out a school-wide notification that kids could be picked up early on Thursday and it wouldn't count against them. Starting at probably lunch, parents started to come check out their kids because we were getting snow and ice. Now, if you live in northern states where you get snow all the time, you probably would laugh at us Southerners, but it doesn't snow. I can count on one hand how many times my house where we lived in like north central Texas, I can count on one hand how many times I saw snow as a child. Now that I live in Oklahoma, we probably get a decent sized snow maybe once a year, but our states were just not equipped to handle it like northern states. Even though we knew that weather was coming, we got, I would say 3 to 4 inches of snow, but then the roads were really icy. Parents were checking out early, which was just chaos in itself. Then Friday, we had a snow day because of the weather also, which was great, but I'm not like prepped and ready. Normally, I like to be prepped ahead of the week by, obviously, before today. I am prepping our math lesson that we are gonna do later this afternoon. So I'm introducing addition with regrouping. If you know, you know, right? We're going to create an anchor chart. So I'm cutting out all of our anchor chart pieces to be ready to go. Then kids will also have a matching anchor chart for their math journals. So I'll introduce one strategy every single day so we don't complete the whole anchor chart in one day. Then as I am writing information on our big anchor chart, the kids are creating a mini anchor chart to keep in their math journal so that they have it ready to go and they have it to look back on throughout the year. Because a lot of times, like our anchor charts back here, like they'll get covered up as new concepts are introduced. So because they have this in their math journal, they will always have it to look back on. And just to save time, because this is a simple 4-cut, glue it in their journal, I pre-cut these for them just to save time. I don't do that with every interactive notebook activity that we do, but with this one, I am pre-cutting it for them, again, just to save some time. One thing that we are going to start back up this week is the review of our math station routines. Now, because I am starting regrouping, I really want to be able to get to my small groups quickly because, I mean, if you know, regrouping, it's one of the hardest concepts that we teach in 2nd grade. So I really want to be able to pull them to my small group table. But before I can do that, I need to review our routines and procedures that we learned all throughout before Christmas break. I don't want to just throw them back into it because if I just throw them back into it and it goes wrong and I don't review or refresh, then it's gonna go really wonky, and we don't want that. One of the things that I did over the break, and I do this not just for my station time, but just for teaching in general, is I do a mid-year reflection over what I think is working with my small groups and what is not. What are some things that I want to continue? Is there something that I want to tweak and change? So if that is something that you do not do, I suggest taking 5 or 10 minutes, grab a notepad and jot down what you are feeling about your current routines and procedures. Are you happy with the way that your small groups are going? Are you happy with how your mini lessons are going? Is there something that you want to improve on, or is there something that you feel like you want to change? So I recommend taking just a couple of minutes, grab a piece of paper, set a timer for 3 minutes, and write down as many thoughts as you possibly can. Get those out on paper. Then you can review and reflect what you wrote down and what you want to improve on. I initially wanted to do all of our review of our station rules and routines. I wanted to do that last week, but because we did not have school because of bad weather days, I'm having to do it this week. So the first thing we're going to do is review our rules, and let me show you what those are. These Math Station rule posters, these are actually a freebie in my TPT store. I will drop the link in the description if you want to grab these. But these are our station rules. We practice staying in one spot the whole time, using appropriate voice levels, having good teamwork, taking care of our materials, asking 3 before me, and how to clean up and put away our stations the right way, and how to put things up neatly. So my plan for tomorrow is we are going to practice in reviewing voice levels and having teamwork. I have at the front of my room up here, I have our voice level posters, and then next to each voice level poster there is a touch light, and my touch lights actually have a remote, so I can be anywhere in the room and I can turn on the light to show our voice level. We are going to practice being in groups. I'm just going to have them at their desk, and they are going to work probably just with manipulatives to start. That's what I do at the beginning of the year. We're going to practice using different voice levels, just playing and exploring with manipulatives and having good teamwork. And then we'll practice how to clean up and put things away neatly, what that looks like and what that doesn't look like. So we can just do a quick review over these basic things. Then something else I recommend doing prior to jumping back in is doing an overhaul of your station areas, making sure that all of your supplies are ready to go for the new year and things like that. I have all of our independent activities. They are ready to go, and they are in our baskets. We have fresh school supplies ready to go, such as dry erase markers and things like that. If you are looking for more on how I use this, I've got several other videos on how my station setup goes, and I've also got blog posts. I can share those links as well. Let me show you what I have in our station baskets. If you're not familiar with my setup, I've used this same setup for several years. It's simple and it's just what works for me. It's just what I go with. But I have 5 station rotations. I have station 1. Let me flip this around. Station 2 and station 3. This folder, it says daily folder in Elizabeth. It's just a sticker that won't come off. I just have things inside of here. This doesn't mean anything. That's just, it is what it is. Then my 4th rotation is technology, and then 5th is my teacher table. I'll show you what my rotation setup looks like. But let me show you what we're gonna be doing. These are all activities that they have previously done in the past. There's not gonna be anything new for them. So as we're getting back into the routine of things, I didn't wanna spend a ton of time answering questions. For me, station 1 is always math fact practice. Every other week I swap out between addition and subtraction, fact families, adding 3 numbers, and then as the year goes on, things will get harder. And then stations 2 and 3 are reviews of previously taught skills. Let me show you what we have in our baskets. Up first for station 1, you can find these activities. All of these are in my TPT shop or my website store. I'll drop links. If you're an Inner Circle member, you can find those there as well. But one of the things I love about these activities that I have is they include student instructional videos. So they can scan this QR code and a video is going to pop up of me showing them how to complete the game. This is 𝗧𝗽 math facts. So they'll roll the dice and then use a dry erase marker to solve the problems. So that's going to be station 1. They've done this before and they are familiar with it. Don't be afraid to rinse and repeat. Just because they've done something once doesn't mean that they can't do it again. Then station 2, again, guys, this folder, it's just stuck on there and I'm just using it. This doesn't mean anything. Okay, they are actually going to be putting together a pocketbook. This activity is in my 2nd grade place value unit. And this was something that I prepped and we actually never got to it. I didn't want to just throw it away. So I'm putting it as a station activity. So they're going to make the pocketbook. I've got my example. They'll fold their paper. See how I miscopied that? They'll fold it and they'll add their label at the front, and then they'll have their 2 pockets for greater than and less than 500. So they have all of their pieces. And then once they make their pocketbook, then they have this sheet where they will identify the numbers with base 10 blocks. They'll write the number in standard form. They'll cut the cards out and they'll sort them in their pocket. This will probably take them more than one time or more than one rotation to get it done. So then in their basket, I have glue sticks and everything else that they're gonna need. For station 3, they are practicing 10 more, 10 less, 100 more, 100 less. I love these poly-zip folders. If you do not use them, you're missing out. They're definitely an investment. Typically, prior to discovering these, I used Ziploc bags. But what I love about these is that this is a full-size laminated sheet of paper, and it's not trimmed. So you can see that it's not trimmed, and it fits inside the poly-zip folder, and I can zip it and none of my materials will fall out. But here they just have a set of task cards and they're practicing 10 more, 10 less, 100 more, 100 less, and then they'll write their answer next to the matching box on their recording sheet. Again, this is all something that they have done independently already, so that I am not anticipating having a bunch of questions. I'll spend probably the first day or so monitoring how they are working with their groups. Are they rotating the right way? And as long as they're following my directions, then I'll start to pull small groups. Let me show you what my rotation board looks like. I use a digital board. This is the first year that I have fully committed to a digital board rather than my traditional pocket chart one. It's been a big adjustment, but I actually really like it. All of my groups are named with animals. And I also have this where if you wanted to do number groups or different colors, you can use those too. You just click on the name or the icon of the names that you want, and you copy and paste them and put them here of the station where they're going to go to. You can also copy and paste a timer that you can insert here into your board. But you can see here, these are my mock names. Does anybody recognize my class list here? How this will work, I can display my PowerPoint to my board, and then I love this wireless remote. I can either plug this into my smart board or I can plug it into my computer. It just attaches with a USB. I actually don't even have to get up from my table to change out my slides. I can control my mouse. Then from my table, I can just use my remote. If I click down once, it'll automatically start my timer for me. Then when our time is up, this will make a dinging noise. It will actually signal the kids that it's time to start cleaning up. And then I can hit the button and it moves it to our cleanup slide. Typically, I have about a 2-minute transition. And honestly, once they get the hang of it, they don't even really need that much time. but they have to put all of their cards or pieces back in their bag, clean up their area, and put the basket back on the shelf. And then they have to stand quietly and face me and wait to switch. And I can use my remote to change the slide, and it will go to round 2. I can easily move all of my groups for each rotation that we do. So how I do that is with my mouse, I just will highlight and I will group everything, and I'll typically just shift everything over one space, and then the space that is over here, they were at teacher table, I highlight all together, then I will move them over to station 1 for the next rotation. So I can do that for stations 1, 2, and 3. Typically, because my time is limited this year, I'm only seeing 2 groups a day. I'm doing really good if I get to 3 groups, but for the most part, I'm seeing 2 groups a day consistently. That's all I'm going to share today. Next week, I'll come back and I'll share a lot of the addition with regrouping strategies and activities that we have been doing. Because we're just starting out, I want to get some of that done so that I can actually show you some finished work. But if you are looking for regrouping ideas, I do have several previous videos and some blog posts that you can check out. I'll drop those in the description as well. All right, you guys, I will see you in the next one. Bye.